Thanks, Brian. Well, the campaign to regulate marijuana like alcohol is making a push to legitimize pot in Arizona, and they want a revenue from 15% tax to go right to education. This could amount to $72 million a year by 2019, according to a new nonpartisan report from the Grand Canyon Institute. So could this drug money be the answer to saving struggling schools? Here with the fair and balanced debate on it, Mason Vert, Director of Communications for the Marijuana Policy Project, and Robert Graham, Chairman of the Arizona Republican Party. Thank you both for joining me here. So, Mason, let me start with you. Do you believe that this is the way to help these schools by taking tax money from revenue from drugs and putting it back into the schools?
You know, ultimately what we're talking about here is a product that millions of adults use, much like alcohol. And if it's legal, it's going to be subjected to tax. And if those taxes are going to be levied, where should that money go? And this campaign has decided to direct some of that money toward public education. And really, you know, it's not going to solve the budget shortfall that those schools in Arizona are facing, but it's going to help. And, you know, the tax revenue from marijuana sales is not really the best reason to make marijuana legal for adults, but it's a great bonus. In addition to, of course, ending prohibition and taking sales out of the underground market and so on.
Robert, I'm guessing that you note a bit of irony here in this sales pitch.
Well, it's amazing to me when we start talking about using drug money to actually fund children when we spent the last umpteen decades telling children that it's not good for them and that's going to slow down their productivity. And when you throw out numbers like 72 million and when he says it's a bonus to help schools, it's amazing because that money that you talk about between 40 and 72, I've heard numbers all over the place. It's that money could build one school in the entire state of Arizona, and we would look at it as almost a rounding error when you look at an $8, $9, $10 billion budget in the state of Arizona, where most of our money goes to education now. I think it's one of these feel-good statements where they want to bring kids into it to try to make voters believe that it's going to be a benefit more than a detriment to our environment and our economy and our people here in the state of Arizona.
Robert, I know you have 5 kids, so I'm going to ask this to both of you. Do you believe then that tax on alcohol should not be used toward funding schools at all as well, or is this strictly a drug issue for you?
Oh, for me, I'll tell you, it's a drug issue for me. I mean, it's one of these things where this is the issue on hand as we're discussing this in our state. And we're seeing the proponents come in and waving these checks, and then you start to see the real impact. I mean, as the numbers start coming out of states like Colorado, when you have the drug czar that says this legalization for taxation, he's saying don't do it. He says it's a myth. You're not going to get more paved roads. Okay. You're not going to pay teachers more. There's not going to be more going to kids. Ultimately, it's a red herring, and it shouldn't be done.
Final
and that's
word,
the pot czar.
Yeah, you know, it's actually kind of funny. The fact is that alcohol is a drug, and it's actually a far more harmful drug to the consumer and to society than marijuana. Alcohol is more addictive, it's more harmful to the body, it's more likely to contribute to violence, yet you have no problem with the tax revenue from that going towards schools. If marijuana is a legal product, it's going to be taxed and the money's going to go somewhere. Why not have it go somewhere where voters want it to go,
Sure.
like to schools?
There's a great sub-debate in that as well. Mason and Robert, I want to thank you for bringing your point of view and perspective to us this morning. Thanks.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you.